Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the No Breaks TV broadcast of MIRL from Okayama International Circuit tonight. I'm Phil Ellis, my partner, Tom Vinas. How are you tonight, Tom?
Doing good, Phil. Good to be back with you here with the MIRL boys. It's going to be a pretty exciting race. Looks like we are running for a total of 30 minutes, or excuse me, 40 laps here at Okayama. So it should be pretty exciting on the short course here for these guys out here in the Legend cars running, or excuse me, I think the super late models running in this road course for the first time this year.
Yeah, 14 cars look like they took time. Top two cars, Jake Goodwin and Mike Alexander, separated by 300ths of a second on a road course. That's not a big gap.
No, not at all. They're usually pretty good battlers, so it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys had a chance to practice out here tonight. Looks like all the guys are getting gridded up, getting ready to go. That'll be able to dictate, just like last week at the 24 Hours of Daytona. It'll be interesting to see how these heavy cars work in this road track.
Yeah, you see a lot of times you'll see these guys get really, really loose with these super late models on these road courses. They don't handle like a true road course car. They're made for ovals and they slip and slide, but sometimes that's what makes the best racing on these tracks.
Yeah, definitely. I got a chance to go out on the track earlier tonight and do a few practice laps in my car, and you know what? The car is tough to handle on this track. If you don't hit your braking points right, then your throttle, easy on the throttle coming off. We're going to see a lot of guys getting loose on exit of these corners for sure.
Yeah, watching a little bit of qualifying. I believe I was watching the 26 of Matthew Barkhouse make his lap, and I want to say it was turn 2 or turn 3. He was just way sideways at ball.
And here we go. We got a green flag already out of the gate. Looks like we have the 24 going to take position out on the inside of the 15 of, looks like Mike Alexander. So Jake Goodwin gets into turn 1. Oh, and there it is, going into turn 2. Mike Alexander gets into the right rear of Jake Goodwin, and it sends him off the track.
Yeah, it looked like Goodwin didn't expect Alexander to get that big of a run, and when he did, Alexander just barely had the nose there. I mean, Alexander couldn't back off anymore. He was already set up for the corner, so.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tough break there for Goodwin, and that's obviously the case. Another guy who seems to be pretty racy right now is the 00, Stephen Matthews. So he's putting pressure on the bumper to 15 as we come out of the last corner and head back to the start-finish line. And there we go. He takes off as it looks like there might be a problem with the number 15 as he is slow on the inside and he gets passed up by 4 or 5 guys.
It looks like he's really, really loose. He got really sideways there coming through that last corner, and Goodwin's right on his bumper. He is all over. Seems like every corner he's slipping and sliding now. I wonder if a little bit of damage maybe knocked the toe in a little bit and make that car upset on him.
Yeah, very well could have. And now he's probably in a position where he's going to end up starting to overdrive these corners, and that's the biggest problem with a lot of these road courses. They always say slow in, fast out. So that's going to be the guy out there, I think, who's going to be able to do the best and maintain his car and maintain everything on it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It looks like the 15 is dropping down the pit road now, as well as the 00. That might be a little bit of pit strategy as well, so they can go to the end of the race on a full tank of gas.
Now, are they limited on fuel, or is that just how it plays out here?
Kind of tough to tell with a 1.3 mile road course like this. Just how much fuel they'll be carrying tonight, I'm not 100% positive, but the only reason I can see maybe parking on lap 2 that I can see, I don't see any penalties given, so looks like these guys are going to go out, put some changes, change tires, and put some fuel in and go back out.
That's kind of a bold strategy, in my opinion. There's not full course yellows on, so local yellows, they're kind of maybe hoping for the fact that everybody else is gonna pit, or hoping that they intend on messing up. Every car's gonna have issues and they'll come out on top. We'll have to see how that plays out through the race.
And it could be, too, they just got a little bit of damage going into turns 1 and 2 and just had to come in and get their front end fixed. So you never know on this road courses what kind of handling is going to affect it. But right now, Matthew Barkhouse, he's on a tear. He's currently got a 1.6 second lead over Ashton Tucker in the number 32 car, followed by Jake Goodwin, who's fought his way all the way back up to third, just 2.7 seconds back.
Yeah, looks like the field now pretty spread out. I mean, 5 seconds back to 4th place. Looks like 8 seconds back to 5th, which is David Cassidy in the 13 car. Evan Osborne, Ryan Messer. Looks like Alexander's back out now in that pack of cars. Jason Halverson's there as well. And then a good distance back to the next few cars here. So everybody pretty spread out. Fast time right now is Matthew Barkhouse at a 53.677, and Jake Goodwin is at a 53.799. Those are the only 2 cars to break into the 53-second bracket right now. So those 2 are 1st and 3rd respectively right now. Ashton Tucker just kind of riding 2.5 seconds back off of Barkhouse right now, running 2nd. So the field pretty spread out. We'll see if we can get any good battles going. Oh, we got a car off. Looked like Ryan Messer overshot the corner, lost it, backed into the grass, kept his foot in it, drove right back out again. So no harm there.
And that's one of the biggest things on these road courses. You definitely going through the corners end up with just single line driving. So somebody's going to either have to put their nose in hard if they can get to the 26 of Barkhouse, but right now he's pulling away pretty hard. He's up to over a 3-second lead on the 2nd place car of Jake Goodwin, who was over to take over 2nd after Ashton Tucker in the last corner. So here we go. We'll see what's going on. Matt Barkhouse, if he's able to hold on to and extend this lead, it's going to be tough to make up that time and get by him if he doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah, since I talked to you about it a few minutes ago, Barkhouse has a little under 3-second lead back right now over Goodwin. So he's picked up a couple tenths of a second, but Goodwin right now seems a little stronger on the back end of the track. Barkhouse seems like he's slipping and sliding a little bit. Just there, coming off of the last corner, I saw him go over the curbing a little bit. These cars, you really got to be careful of that. You mess up that front end, like we talked about earlier with Alexander. Mess that front end up just a little bit, you're going to be struggling the rest of the race. If everybody could, do us a favor, check out a site for us, patreon.com/NoBreaksTV. Check that out for us. You can donate to the cause, help us keep on air and keep everything rolling here. And again, that is patreon.com/NoBreaksTV. Pretty cool site, ladies and gentlemen. If you're wondering why we did that, No Break or YouTube has recently changed their rules on us to where in the past, once you got to so many views on all of your videos that you post in racing, we gave an opportunity for people to go ahead and donate just to help with the funding of this. As you know, these computers and everything we do isn't cheap, and we do not do these broadcasts for hardly any amount of money, maybe 20 bucks, 30 bucks a race max in some instances, and we're out there in 1080p. So 3 of us working in tonight. We got myself up in the booth, along with Phil Ellis and Tom Jenks running the cameras for us. So anything you can do to help us out would be greatly appreciated. While we were talking there, looks like we had our first casualty of the race so far. Mike Umla, I believe is how you pronounce that. If not, I'm very sorry. In the 6 car. Coming down towards the main straightaway. Came up off the corner, and when he did, it just, like we talked about early, it snapped loose on him. And he never could regain it. It just all over and hit the wall, and he had to tow into the pit. So he got a little free in the corner and did a good job of keeping out of everybody's way, but when he gassed it back up, it turned right and hit the fence. That's definitely one of these things in these road cars. It's hard to find out. Matthew Barkhouse just overdrove. I think it's turn 3 and 4, but
giving up a little bit of time, giving Jake Goodwin a chance to come back and pick up some time and close that gap to under 3 seconds. Looks like right now, though, with these road course cars, yeah, you got to be very careful, especially if you're downshifting in the middle corners. You will see your car get whipped right around sideways as that front brake kicks in and all the force goes away from the back tires, holding the front end down.
Yeah, and as this race goes on and these tires get hot, I mean, it's going to all be about tire management and who can keep their tires under them longest, I think. I mean, these guys are pitting really early, and it could be for fuel, but how are tires going to work? I mean, you may make it on fuel now, but if you don't have the tires to make it 40 laps, and 40 laps on these cars on a road course is a lot. You know, these guys, we're already seeing people slip and slide, and we're 10 laps in out of 40, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and in relation to those new tires of Mike Alexander, I don't see him making up any time on Barkhouse. Barkhouse is maybe, I don't know if the last lap is a good indication, but he was about a second quicker than the leader last time, but he's got a lot of time to make up a full lap around this course, being 1.3 miles. You know, they're taking about a minute to get around this track, just under that, probably about 55 seconds. That's going to take quite a bit of laps to get back to that time, so he's going to need some help if he's going to be able to get back one on the lead lap and come back around to have a solid finish.
Goodwin just over a second lead. Barkhouse is out 1.033 seconds, so we'll see how much Goodwin can close this lap here. I mean, he's within striking distance now. Any little mistake, and Goodwin's there, Tucker's there. Arbo really is the one picking up. I mean, he's down to 2.7 seconds when we were talking before it was 5. So, you know, closing big time, and we'll see how this plays out now that Barkhouse has a few laps on his tires.
Yeah, sure. It'll definitely take its toll on him. You watch him going into some corners here, the 26. He's just braking a little bit too late, not getting rolled up enough. He's starting to smoke that left front in some of these right-hand corners. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to be able to maintain the lead he is. He's getting chipped away and eaten away right now. By far, Jake Goodwin's been the smoother driver, along with Ricky Arbo, to make up that much time over that short period. And Ashton Tucker in that 32, you don't want to leave him out. He's been back there as well. He's right in there in the hunt as he's also.
You got the top 4 now. Arbo lost a little bit of time there. Now it's 2.6 seconds. Goodwin staying 1.08 now. I mean, a couple hundredths of a second on a road course is nothing, but, you know, David Cassidy, he's riding around. He's out basically like fishing on the lake. You know, he's sitting out there on the boat by himself, nobody else around him, nobody bothering him. And then you go back a little bit, and you got a decent battle for 6. You got Halverson, Osborne, and Messer all nose to tail right now, and that seems to be a pretty good battle. 6th, 7th, 8th. Go back quite a ways for George White, Byron Bartlett. You got Alexander, who's down a lap. Doug Hugley is down a lap. Steve Matthews is down a lap, and then the 6-car Mike Umla still out of the race. He still has not come back out after having to tow.
Be interested to see what happens with these two leaders there, Phil. The 26 and the 24, Barkhouse and Goodwin. They're getting ready to come up in a lap traffic here. Byron Bartlett in the 7 car. They're about 3.5 seconds behind him, almost 4 seconds now, but they've been making up just about a second a lap on him. So it'll be interesting to see how they make their way by, if he's just going to move over and give them space, or is he going to fight to stay on the lead lap. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, Goodwin closed quite a bit there that last lap. I mean, almost, he's within a half second now, so he's just over a half second that he gained on him. So we'll see what he's got. They're running up on, looks like Byron Bartlett right there in front of him. They're within 15 car lengths of him. Goodwin right there. I mean, 4 or 5 car lengths. It looks like Goodwin's getting a better run up off of the S turns they just came through there. So seems like that's where he's gaining most of his time, on these long sweeping corners. Barkhouse gets a run on him a little bit. He's right there now. He's underneath him.
Yeah, now that he's got to him, it's going to be interesting to see what he's going to be able to do to get by him. all these corners, single lane, it's tough to get under them. You really got to beat them down the straightaway to get your nose in underneath them and take advantage of that inside position going into the corner.
Yeah, like I said before too, I mean, the portion of the track they're in right now is where Goodwin's gaining.
Lap car 7 slides off coming through turn 1 and 2. That does open the door for the 26 and 24 to pass cleanly. As Byron Bartlett will go one lap down, and he just drops back in behind those 2 leaders and pulls in line, and is going to be able to watch them run, see how they run their laps. Coming up soon here, the number 71 of George White. He's getting close to going a lap down as well.
Don't look now, Tom. Third place, Ricky Arbo. He's within 3 seconds now. He's coming. I mean, on my screen, he's right there. You know, I don't think he's far from being up with Goodwin and Barkhouse running for the lead here. No real change in the action so far. Barkhouse still leading by 0.6 of a second over Goodwin. Ricky Arbo still, Ricky Arbo gets loose, overshoots the corner there, Tom. I'm not sure if any damages. Let me see if we can go back and check that out. Looks like he just came into the turn a little hot, slid out, got into the lap car of the 71. That's George White. White stopped. Arbo continued, but it cost him 2 seconds.
That's going to be a tough time to make up, and he's definitely going to have some damage on the left side and that left front fender. Tough break for George White, too, because he was just trying to give him as much space as he could to give him that position coming around the inside of that corner. And, you know, Ricky made a mistake. It happens out here. You get a little too aggressive, and these tires get a little greasy, and as the rubber builds up on this track, you're going to start seeing these cars slipping and sliding a lot more than you have so far.
Yeah, definitely. While we got a little break in the action here, I'm going to give a little rundown. Top 10 in points for the Maritime iRacing League. These guys get drop races. This is without drops. Right now, Mike Alexander is your leader in points with 760 points. Ricky Arbo second, 738. Jake Goodwin right there, 736. Barkhouse, 726. So second, third, and fourth separated by 12 points. Steve Matthews fifth at 680 points. Ryan Messer sixth at 678. Ashton Tucker seventh at 636. George White eighth at 598. Kyle Boudreau ninth at 558. And Jason Halverson rounds out the top 5, or excuse me, top 10 at 542 points.
Been watching these front two cars so far tonight, Phil, the 26 lately and Jake Goodwin in the 24. Looks like Jake Goodwin in the 24 has just been able to sit back and relax and watch this, I wouldn't say cruise, or coast, but I would definitely say cruise. I think he's just waiting for the opportunity to pounce. We got quite a few laps left in this race yet, so I think around 20 laps coming by. Next time by, we'll have 21 to go. I think he's just waiting to see if the 26 makes a mistake so he can get by clear and have some open track to go rather than trying to force his way by.
You can see he's definitely faster through the S's and the tight turns of the track. Once you get out here where they're at right now, last 2 turns of the track, he just, you know, he loses everything he gains through those S's. And Barkhouse is just that much better in that section of track. It's like halfway this time by. Next time they cross the stripe. So we'll see if Goodwin's got anything here.
Jake Goodwin coming down the inside off the stretch of the front stretch off of turn 1. Looked like he just wanted to show him his nose a little bit. Excuse me, that was turn 6. Just to be able, they come off down the main street now. We'll see what he's got going into turn 1 and see if he's going to want to try to put his noses in there again.
This is where he really starts gaining time. Barkhouse gets a little sideways. Goodwin's got to run. I don't think he's going to be able to get there, but we'll see. He's taking a little bit different entry. He's taking a wider entry into the corners in this section of the track than Barkhouse is. So Goodwin, I mean, really right now, he's within 2 car lengths, and you know, you can really see Barkhouse struggling to get off these corners right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And without a clear path by Barkhouse, he's running a little bit slower. That's also going to give the 51 of Ricky Arbo a chance to get back in as well as possibly Ashton Tucker in the 32. Obviously, they're a little bit back now. I think last time by the stripe, Arbo was about 51 seconds back. We'll see what he ends up on this time by. Excuse me, 5.1 seconds.
You know, I'm really wondering how much that damage on Goodwin's car has actually affected him. I mean, I'm not seeing him really struggle too much, but I mean, I'm guessing maybe that down the straights in the high speed portion of the track, maybe that's what's slowing him down a little bit.
Yeah, as long as you don't knock the toe out, you should be all right in these road courses. That's going to be the biggest thing. But you can take a little bit of damage, and these cars are pretty tough as well as that. If they hit the front, you know, if they hit the wall or the tires too hard, yeah, they have a big chance of blowing the motor pretty easily. But as far as aero on these road course tracks, I don't think you have as much to worry about. As long as the handling holds up, you should be fine.
Goodwin's still right there through this S's part of the track. I mean, he's waiting. I'm not sure. You know, I haven't seen anybody else pit. You know, right now I see Alexander, Steve Matthews, George White, and Mike Umla's been on pit road for, you know, a good 18 minutes, but nobody else has hit pit road yet. So we'll have to see, you know, now 3 laps past halfway, we'll see how this strategy plays out and if these guys do have to pit.
Yeah, I would say if these top 8 drivers that are still in the lead lap do need to pit, I would say Mike Alexander and Stephen Matthews are going to be sitting in the catbird seat, that's for sure. It just depends on how long it takes these other guys to get on and off pit road if they do have to make a pit stop.
Alexander now is, he's the 4th car on track right now. Right behind Ricky Arbo, who's in 3rd. So Alexander, he's got a quick car, just I don't know if that first lap deal and then him pitting or what. We'll have to see how that plays out for him. Ricky Arbo's gained quite a bit of time on these guys. He's not that far behind now, back within 3 seconds. You can really see Barkhouse. I'm on board with Goodwin now, watching from his onboard. You can really see Barkhouse struggling to get off these corners. From watching from the TV cameras, you can't really see it, but you go inside of that 24 of Goodwin, Barkhouse is out in the dirt. He's missing the corners. He's sideways up off. You can really see Goodwin working the wheel with his hands, but I mean, still very, very smooth. looking on board with Jake Goodwin now, you'll see what I'm talking about. Down through certain sections of the track, he's very smooth on the wheel. But you watch that 26 car, Barkhouse in front of him, you'll watch him slip and slide, and right there he pushed out a little bit, hopped over the curb a little, out into the grass, coming down the front straight now. 15 to go this time by. Barkhouse overshoots the corner. Goodwin gets right back to his bumper, makes the move to the inside, thinks better of it. Tucks right back up on his bumper. I mean, he's right there ready to pounce, Tom.
Yeah, I agree, Phil. I'm sitting here watching the in-car and the outside car. It's just like Jake's just minding his time. You know what? He thinks it's coming. He can tell that it looks like Barkhouse in 26, his equipment is going away. Definitely his front tires. And that could be from a few of those laps earlier when he was just really over-braking, going in the corners, locking up his tires. That being said, I don't know, Jake might just be riding and being as patient as he needs to, just keep from barreling over the top of him in the back, would be my guess, because he's got plenty of time left to go through this race. We got about 14 laps left. That's quite a bit of time here in the next 15 minutes. This race should be done if we continue to remain green, but I don't know. You can see the different line, definitely, that the 24 at Jake Goodwin's taken into the corners. And what you're seeing is a little bit more road racing experience the 24 has over the 26. Because you'll see the 24, he's arcing his corners quite a bit more than the 26, where the 26 is kind of diving in. That's giving the 24 a little bit more stability. And you can't hear, you see him burning off his tires as he's exiting and entering the corners.
No, very smooth on the throttle, very smooth on the wheel. I think the whole time I've been watching on board, I've only really heard his tires from him being loose up off the corner maybe once or twice. But you watch that 26 of Barkhouse, almost every time coming off the last turn there, he's got his left sides out in the grass. And, he's driving in a lot harder than Goodwin is. And I think that's what's going to save Goodwin is, he's easing it down in the corner, but he's getting a huge run down through the center.
Don't look now. Coming up to the back of them is Mike Alexander, who was originally one lap down. He went down early in this race. He had to pit right on lap 2 after starting on the front row of this. And there it is. Goodwin dives to the bottom inside of turn 6. Coming out of turn 7, he will take the lead. I guess he just decided enough is enough. I'm going. And he has opened up quite a quick 4 or 5 car length gap just coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, you can really see the difference in driving style there. It's a big difference between Goodwin and Barkhouse. Now the thing is Barkhouse going to overdrive the car trying to get back to Goodwin's bumper? And as you were saying there, Alexander now looking underneath the Barkhouse. That's not for position. Alexander's still a lap down in 8th place, but by far probably one of the faster cars on track right now.
There's definitely no doubt there. He's been able to fight his way back from the full lap down. It looks like he's going to have the opportunity to try to get around Jake Goodwin and try to take his lap back on the track. That could be humongous for Alexander if the case does, where the 24's got a pit. That might just lock up the win for him.
Lap time wise, Alexander not the quickest car on track. I mean, Goodwin and Barkhouse still the only 2 cars to break the 53-second bracket. Now that tires are warm, nobody's really going to get close to that. But right now, Mike Alexander, the last lap, ran a 56.061. Your leader, Jake Goodwin, ran a 56.548. So Alexander a half second quicker than the last lap. Yeah,
he's definitely quicker, but 10 laps remaining in the race. He's going to have to hope for a miracle at this point. If Jake Goodwin and Matthew Barkhouse and Ricky Arbel, those guys, the rest of the guys on the lead lap, Jason Halverson, Ryan Messer, David Cassidy, don't have to pit. It's going to be very tough for the 15 to get himself all the way back around. He might be mired in that 8th place position if these guys are able to go the distance the rest of this race.
You know, watching now, I'm on board with Alexander. You notice now how hard he gets in the throttle up off the corner compared to when we were watching Goodwin on board. And I mean, the throttle, the difference in the sound of the throttle is crazy, because he's like matting it, middle of the corner. He's almost full throttle up off in some of these turns where I haven't heard anybody else do it on board yet. Once again, for anybody joining us, I'm your announcer, Phil Ellis, joined by my partner, Tom Van Ness, and this is No Brakes TV. Check us out, patreon.com/NoBrakesTV. Go on there, check us out, give a donation of monthly, one time, whatever you want, to help us keep going here, keep doing what we like doing and announcing and bringing these races to everybody.
I've been having a little bit of fun on board with Mike Alexander as he's right to the bumper of Jake Goodwin, our current leader. He's going to have to find an opportunity to get by him, to get back on the lead lap and finish on the lead lap. With that being said, if he's able to do that, he could be able to knock up and pick up a couple positions. Looks like the 91 of Jason Halverson is the next car getting ready to, would be the last car in the lead lap. As you can see him just 2 corners in front of these two drivers here, waiting to get by. One of the things I'm hearing with Mike Alexander that I don't think some of the other drivers are doing, depending on which corner he's in, he is holding it down in 3rd gear. When 3rd gear is giving him allowed to do, his RPMs are a little bit lower on exit, but he is really able to mash the gas and pick up some good acceleration off the corner, where some of these other drivers may be going down to 2nd gear in some of these corners, and you really got to feather the throttle and be smooth coming off, like you got an egg under there, in order to keep shooting these cars sideways and losing grip on the rear end.
Yeah, the problem with, like you were saying, with Alexander trying to pick up these spots is we've only got 6 laps to go, so I don't really see him having much time to get to these guys. So right now it looks like he's gonna stay 1 lap down unless everybody in front of him has to pit. I'll tell you what, Tom, solid run for Ashton Tucker and Dave Cassidy. We haven't mentioned him a lot. Tucker was up front for a little bit, but they've been riding 4th and 5th. Right now, both of them pretty much on track by themselves. Nobody around, just running. Both cars look clean, no damage, and, you know, solid top 5 finishes. But at the same time, I go back to Matthew Barkhouse, who we covered a lot earlier. He is struggling, Tom. He is all over, slipping and sliding. Goodwin's out to just about a 6-second lead over him, and he cannot keep that car where he wants to. Right now he's out in the dirt coming off the last turn, and I mean, he is really, really struggling to keep that car underneath him right now.
Yeah, I think he went out to such a large advantage early in this race when he had a chance to get the lead, but I think you just saw him, started seeing some of those drivers creep up in his rearview mirror and just started to overdrive the car. It's just one of those things in this road course race, just like on an oval, you got to take care of your equipment or you're going to struggle to stay fast. More importantly, these road courses too, is we've heard it all before 100 times, slow is fast. Slow and smooth is really fast on these cars.
We were talking about Mike Alexander. He did just pick up the spot on Jason Halverson. Halverson moved over for Goodwin to give him the line, and Alexander took advantage, so he's up to 7th now, but Ryan Messer about a half a track ahead now, so he's pretty much wrapped it up here with 6 to go as they just cross the stripe. He
Still,
is
even
much.
though this isn't battle, just the 15 tried to battle his way back to the lead lap, it still makes for some pretty entertaining racing between these two drivers. They're obviously both skilled road course racers, and they've done one heck of a job so far tonight. Jake Goodwin, once he's got out in front, he just hasn't had to look back, and he saved his equipment the whole race. Alexander, on the other hand, he's had to fight his way all the way back, so I'm amazed to see him staying up there where he has, because he's had to really use up his equipment to try to get back to on the lead lap.
You can see the difference in how much quicker Alexander is right now than Goodwin. He's really having to baby it to keep from running him over in certain portions of the track. This is the second road course race they've run this year here at Maritime iRacing League. Earlier this season, they ran Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Your winner that day, Jake Goodwin, led all but one lap, led 31 of 32 laps. Your second place finisher was Mike Alexander, so that tells you, these two pretty good at road courses. Don't look now, Tom. I think he's out of time, but Ricky Arbo just took over second from Barkhouse. Barkhouse is really, really struggling. I mean, he's pretty much wrapped up third, barring anything happening now, but he's struggling really, really bad. Oh, he pulled over. He's pitting right now, I think.
He might be running out of fuel. That could be it. We'll see if Goodwin's able to hold on to it. That could be the issue. That might have been the trick right there with the 15 and the 00, pitting early. Right now, 2 laps ago, the 24 Goodwin, hopefully he saved enough fuel and he's been able to do it to hold on to make up a couple laps. Because if that's the case, it's going to be interesting to see if any of these other guys are going to have to pit as well. What could happen, you could see Ryan Messer, David Cassidy, one of those guys that have been around the back the whole race, just holding their own and cruising. They might have incidentally just saved that fuel by not being as fast and able to drive as hard as some of these other guys.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, Tom. On board with Barkhouse rolling down pit road. He's not under power, so ran out of fuel right there, coasted all the way to his pit stall. That's going to cost him big. He's all the way back now, 1 lap down. Alexander just gained a spot on him, so he's all the way back to 7th now.
It's hard to tell. I don't know if Alexander's backed off a little bit or Jake Goodwin's just picked up the pace. He's back now about 1.5 seconds, but who knows? He could be sitting back there not wanting to run too close for the fear that if he runs out of gas in the middle of the track, he's going to be taken off the front of his nose of his car. But next time by, we should be seeing the white flag.
On board with Goodwin, it doesn't sound like he's easing up any. I mean, he's still going pretty hard.
Hey, 24 looks like he's down on speed. Are you seeing that too or no?
It's over.
Yeah, that's the race. It finished. So your winner tonight at Okayama International Circuit, short, Jake Goodwin, 24. Second place, Ricky Arbo in the 61. Ashton Tucker comes home third. David Cassidy fourth. Ryan Messer fifth. Mike Alexander came back first car lap down, finished sixth. Barkhouse, after leading a good portion at the beginning, came home seventh after running out of fuel. Halverson in the 91, eighth. Stephen Matthews, ninth. Evan Osborne, 10th. George White, 11th. Byron Bartlett, in the 7 car, 12th. Doug Hubley in the 33 finished 13th. And Mike Umla round out the field in the 6th after crashing 3 laps in. So he finished 37 laps down.
Yeah, pretty good race, Phil, honestly, with these boys out here on this road course. We only saw 2 incidents that we could tell where 2 drivers got into each other. That was the Jake Goodwin and Mike Alexander at the beginning of the race, as he just got smoked on the front stretch. And then also where I think it was I think it was Ricky Arbo, the 61, got into the side of 71 overdriving the one corner. So pretty good race all in all. A lot of fun to watch these guys run week in, week out. They run hard, they run quick. They don't have tremendously long races, so for these guys, what they've done tonight, I would have to say hats off to all these boys out here for finishing.
Yeah, these guys always put on a good show, man. They're always, hard competitors, but most of them are really, really good friends, and they all joke around. I know quite a few of these guys. I know Tucker, Cassidy, Messer. I know Goodwin some from other races around iRacing, but a lot of these guys, they race together in this league week in and week out,
Yeah, it's actually a pretty private league. It's really pretty cool deal. They're all members of the five provinces on the east coast of Canada, and that is a requirement to be able to race in this league. So all these boys out here do a pretty good job in the Maritime iRacing League, and always a lot of fun to watch.
It's like we're joined by our second place finisher, Ricky Arbo. Ricky, how you doing today, man?
Oh, better now, that's for sure.
Ricky, good to see you again. It looked like we were watching the race. We saw Alexander and I think it was Matthews pit really early. Was that a potential fuel strategy, or maybe they have their tape wrong or something like that from qualifying? What happened there? Do you know what was going on, or was it pretty close to making it all the way on fuel?
I'm not sure. I knew we were short. That could have been a strategy call. I'm really not sure. I think there was some contact early on with a couple of drivers. Maybe that had to do with it. I'm not sure. From what I could see, I never seen much, but it's unfortunate for them, because I thought personally, at the end of the race, I thought I was running fourth, and I looked, I was running third, and that's when I noticed Alexander was gone, because I had let him by early on, but I ran out at the finish line. I started saving with 10 to go. I was hoping that was enough. I did a little bit of math on the calculator before we started, and I figured about 10, 11 laps, if I saved a couple points per gallon there, I'd come out with enough, and she worked out. And I got to thank George White for pushing me back to the pits there, because I wasn't going to make her back around. And unfortunately, too, the guy gave me a lane there early on, and I ended up taking his door off.
Yeah, one of those things that happens here in these road courses. But you know what? A lot of fun to watch you running tonight. We had you running all the way up there. You were on a charge, that's for sure, until you got into it a little bit there with George. But other than that, everybody in this race tonight did one heck of a job. So if you get a chance for us, you get to talk to a few of these guys, pass the word. It was a blast to broadcast you guys tonight, and congrats on the second place finish. Is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, thanks, guys. It definitely was there. I was frustrated 3 weeks in a row starting shotgun on the field. I got to... Hopefully three's enough. We'll end that. But yeah, I find I drive a little bit more aggressive when I'm upset, I guess. But I gotta say a big thanks to you guys for covering this event. You guys do a fantastic job every week, and I really gotta thank New Beginnings Vape Studio here in Fredericton and St. John and all their stores across New Brunswick for continuously helping us. And other than that, I gotta thank my girlfriend for putting up with it.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Phil.
Ricky, thanks again, man. You guys always put on a show, and Great seeing you again. Next week wraps up the season, correct?
Nope, we got a couple more to go. We still got 2 more to go yet.
Oh, yeah, I always keep forgetting about that South Boston race. That's right. Where are we at next week?
I don't think we're off. I can't remember. Our schedule's kind of hectic, but I believe we're at New Smyrna. We're at New Smyrna, and then we have Lanier, and then we have the Re-Sobo race, I believe we're going to do. So technically 3 to go.
Well, awesome, man. Look forward to seeing you guys in those 3 races, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you again.
Ricky Arbo, number 61, second place finisher, came back on a huge drive. Came back and finished second. Tom, great racing tonight, man. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of watching these road course races, but I'll tell you, man, these guys they put on a show. And like you said, other than those 2 incidents where Ricky actually overshot the corner, got in the 71, and that deal at the beginning with Alexander and Goodwin, where just 2 guys fighting for the lead at the beginning of the race. I thought it was a really clean race.
Yeah, it was, and that's one thing I can see those 2 battle and try to get to the lead as soon as they can, because once you get out in front of the road course, it's tough for somebody to get by you and pass you unless you make a mistake or really burn off your equipment. You know what? These guys are usually running these short track ovals, so to see these guys come out and run this road course, I've never been a big fan of road courses personally to run them, but you know what? I picked up appreciation for it over the last couple of years, being involved with a couple of teams that run on these endurance races. But to watch these guys out here in these heavy cars and these road courses, yeah, man, they do one hell of a job, and it is a blast to watch them and broadcast their races. I was just taking a look at the schedule for them. It looks like our next race is going to be February 7th at New Smyrna Speedway. 125 lapper. Then following that, we're at South Boston on February 21st. So looks like next week we're on, and then we'll have a week off and come back on the 21st. So looks like these boys get lucky and they have Valentine's Day off and go spend it with their significant others.
Yeah, New Smyrna, man. I think a lot of these guys are gonna be really good at New Smyrna. I've raced against quite a few of them there in super late models, and Goodwin's always fast. Arbo, you know, you put him at USA, New Smyrna tracks like that, he's really, really good. He's really consistent. So I think he will probably be one of the guys to watch. A guy that wasn't here tonight that usually puts on a good show, Mike Rhino. So hopefully we'll see him back at New Smyrna next week. So pretty good car count, 14 cars for a road course race. So can't really complain about that. And want to thank everybody for coming. Check us out, YouTube, No Brakes TV. Also, go to patreon.com/NoBrakesTV and check us out there. And anything else you got to add tonight, Tom?
No, I don't. It's just a blast to race here. Blast to watch these guys race here at Okayama. Just want to give a big shout out to the No Brakes TV, Phil Ellis. Again, you were a stud in the booth tonight. As well, I want to give a big shout out to Tom Jenks for running the cameras up in the booth, setting up the overlays and everything in the camera angles. Fantastic job of the broadcast again. Again, we're No Brakes TV. We will be back with you again with the MIRL boys here on February 7th when they're at New Smyrna. We will be doing a couple other races. I think we have something coming up next Monday as well. So keep an eye out for our YouTube. Click and subscribe on the channel. If you want to find out what's going on there, go to our Facebook page at nobrakes.tv. And like Phil just talked about, ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor. Go over and check out www.patreon.com/NoBrakesTV. Take a look at it, become a member if you don't mind, and see what we can do to help us out. Obviously, we have a couple goals we want to hit on there, and when we do get to those goals, for example, I think it is the first 1,000 that we raise, we're going to put on a no-fee race for anybody with $100 purse. So we're going to put that in as our money just to say thanks back to everybody else for helping us out as well. Again, have a great night. Pleasure working with you all again tonight, the guys at MIRL. Enjoy your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.